Jensen power. So this is basically the same situation I was in when I got here the first time. My inventory was full. Hope that doesn't piss anyone off too much.
Oh, it's those haunted barrels in our weapons cache again.
It's like that scene from Dumb and Dumber, but with a very big salt chick.
Continue, Josh.
So I got here and I was like, man, I want to pick up some of this stuff and carry around some of this stuff. So I just dropped the crossbow right here, exactly where you're supposed to.
Is that what we're doing this time? Please tell me we're going to drop it here.
Why can't I click on the top here? There we go. What is it that I'm supposed to do here? Identify O'Malley's weapon shipment. Why can't I... Oh, this is weird shit that's going on here. Well, if we do that, we get less XP, and I think we need XP.
Yes, upgrade the pistol. The pistol was the best thing to happen ever. No,
the revolver is the best thing to happen ever.
Really? You know, I'll be honest, I didn't give the...
Useless.
Are you kidding?
Can you use it in vending machines?
Exploding rounds?
Okay, I guess I did not get that upgrade.
I'll admit I never really gave the revolver a chance. I was like, oh, a non-stealth weapon. Well, I'll just sell that without even trying it out. So how does it compare, like, how does it compare if you're doing a lethal non-stealth run compared to the pistol?
It's pretty badass. It's basically a trade-off from the pistol where you can just like kill everyone in one shot, where with the revolver you have the potential to hit like 3 people in one shot. And basically it turns it into like a mini rocket launcher.
More like a railgun, I hope, and not actually exploding. Or you're
you're
saying literally
it explodes. Like the ammo explodes with an explosive radius.
See, game designers, that's not what we think when we think revolver.
Yeah, my revolver is my go-to weapon for splash damage. What?
Oh yeah, this guy walks up here to mess around with his art, I guess.
It seems like, I don't know, that would have been better for like a projectile launcher, like a railgun or something.
So these guys don't really feel that different to fight than the guys that have the robo arms, right? I mean,
not really.
They don't.
No.
They never use their robo arm. The guys that are augs don't seem particularly tougher or more dangerous than non-augs.
but isn't that one of the game's main thrusts, that anyone who's augmented is some sort of super soldier that needs to be isolated like an X-Men?
That is a really, really good point. In that, this game could have really sold its premise a lot more if these guys were just cream puffs and the augs you fought earlier were so much more badass.
Yeah. So here's the culmination of ghosting, right? Blow up all the mines.
I did this. I mean, I just shot them out with my holdout pistol, and I got the achievement just fine.
I know, but why?
This is where I looked it up online and found out that you can hold the sneak button. See, the thing is, if you're using a DualShock controller, you can sneak. Not sneak, but move slowly.
Right.
Just by nudging the thumbstick, and you'll move slowly enough to not set off the bombs. Where on the PC, you have to know that there's a walk button and push it. And it's not mentioned in any tutorial.
And what's the walk button again?
Somebody said it was Alt, but I was thinking it was Caps Lock. I don't know.
Caps Lock, I've never liked Caps Lock as a gaming key.
Because when you exit your game, you exit the game and you go to type something into Twitter, and you shout it, and then you look like a rube.
That wasn't precisely my complaint.
Yes, it was. That was the entire thrust of your argument.
Every time I play through this part of the game, I just think, who mines the top part of a building?
Exactly.
That's an.
You place the mines on the bottom, so when they go off, the whole building collapses. It's
Well,
elementary.
I think they're trying to keep Batman out. I think
Bullshit!
We are planning our base defense to get the most
damn
like, gang members killed, right? Because that seems to be their policy. Line the hallway they go through on a regular basis with a high explosive.
That was the ghost right there. If I had killed that guy before he did that, you get capped.
Anyway, you know, it would be sort of interesting if the augmented guys were more resilient to attempts to tranquilize them or like put them out or something.
Yeah.
Well, anyone with body armor is more resilient to that.
It would be funny if you hit them with a tranq gun and it just bounces off their augmented arm with a tink.
Yeah, does that work? I actually never thought to try that.
I believe you can shoot an aug right in his metal arm and tranq him. And you know what? I didn't even question it until Chris brought it up, but that is a good point. It would have helped the premise so much if the two were really distinct in some way.
Anyway, this is as good a time to talk about this as any. I don't think any of us has gotten around to talking about how the music in this game is actually very nice.
You know, it's nice, but in a way that you don't like consciously notice it a lot of the time.
Well, that's almost always the best kind of video game music. Is the stuff that like contributes to the mood without actually demanding your attention, because you know you need your attention. You're doing hacking mini games, or you know you're getting into a tense firefight. You're trying to figure out people's watch schedules and stuff.
Yeah.
You don't need to stop and, you know, bob your head and be like, oh yeah, I'm getting into it. But the music in this game has like the same like sort of set of sounds, like the same range of and frequencies and stuff. But they do a lot with it that establishes very disparate moods. So it's a very consistent tone and sound, while allowing for a very wide range of moods. I thought that was very skillfully done. And there's honestly not that many video games where I really care for the music. Especially not games with techno soundtracks.
Yeah. I think
there aren't that many games with techno soundtrack.
The original Deus Ex had kind of this synth soundtrack where it used it used tracker music instead of recorded audio. It was the same type of music you found in Unreal and
I'm pretty
Unreal
sure
Tournament.
The original Deus Ex has a soundtrack that sounds like hell and is some kind of multicolored monstrosity that's scarred for life.
I love it. The point I was making is I loved those soundtracks. Loved them. I love that tracker music, and I can't even explain it. I just found... you know what? It used to be a big deal to be able to have something that sounded that good playing on a computer.
What the hell?
Well,
Richard.
while we're on the subject, the thing about the Deus Ex soundtrack is it's very good music. But it really is the kind of music that you notice. Well, at least like the ambient noises for like, the ambient music's for like Hong Kong or like, for
what's good, man?
moving around the Unitco base and stuff are very distinctive soundtracks. And that's okay because you spend most of those parts of the game wandering around and you might as well have something cool to listen to.
Shit,
yeah,
we got some hot items right now.
But the combat music, if I recall correctly, is actually pretty generic and bland.
Yeah, but I did love the hanging around UNATCO music. That's sort of low-key, trying to convince you you're cool when really you're just like unlocking your office and logging into your computer for the first time. And invading the woman's restroom.
Yo.
I agree. I really like the new soundtrack. I just think it's weird that there's only like one or two callbacks to the original soundtrack, and they're important enough that like it's not coincidental and it's not accidental.
Good idea. Here you go, son.
And I mean, that's when we're getting back to the whole Deus Ex Human Revolution is its best when it's really not trying to conjure up like
all good, son. Peace.
Yeah, I agree.
And watch your back.
So these guys kind of come out of nowhere. You land here on top of this building that is, you know, near the location where the back door to Seraph Industries was transmitting to. And there's just some gang guys here, and they're ready to sell you some stuff.
This is what shops were like in the original Deus Ex. It wasn't like you could sell stuff. It was just a guy with a pocket full of stuff for sale. I liked it for verisimilitude because it really, that's more like what guy standing on the street corner wants to buy all your vendor trash? Like, oh, you've got a whole bunch of pistol ammo. You've got a whole bunch of ammunition for guns I don't own, and you want me to buy it from you? What? So it makes sense in world, although the RPG player in me was a little disappointed.
I liked it because it meant that there was no reason to lug around all kinds of guns I had no interest in using, because I knew that I'd be able to sell them later.
That's a very good point. It gets rid of that hoarding compulsion that we talked about last week.
I don't think I could actually sell guns to that guy.
No, he would not buy anything. I know. This is a long stretch of game to go without selling stuff.
Manderley was supposed to have that more
without access to a shop. You would have had to back out of that area and backtrack a long way. And here we are talking over an important plot point where we have our three generic boss characters all talking about their evil plans.
No loose ends, man.
Yeah, okay, so the narrative in this game does some weird stuff, especially with these guys, where you start out and you figure, oh, these guys are going to be like the big rival characters.
They're here.
They're going to be like the big boss fight. Well, they are the boss fights. I don't know about big, maybe stupid, but and they're going to be like the big showdowns that we have to that I have to deal with in the game. And then you get past this point. This is the last point in the game where they are relevant at any point. After this, no big deal.
They have nothing
Doesn't
more
matter.
to say. Yeah, they have nothing more to
nothing
say after this.
of import.
Yeah, these aren't really characters. These are just enemies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do they have names?
So
Probably.
Oh yeah, they have names. Oh yes.
I felt like that was a bad move.
I agree. And I think this is actually a really bold leap for our show, because I really can't think of another review or games discussion outlet that has criticized the boss battles in Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Yeah, I think they are universally loved.
New territory.
Yeah, we are really going out on a limb here to criticize these boss battles.
No, seriously, everybody.
That are so yeah, everybody hated them. I actually consider there to be 4 boss battles. We'll talk about this later, but there are like several components to every boss battle in the game. It begins with a cutscene where you suddenly act out of character and expose yourself. You expose it. Where you just walk out into the open for no reason. There's a bit of really stilted dialogue. Then you get sucker punched in some way, and then you're in a terrible situation and in a big fight. There's these 3 guys that you fight, and then there's also one where you just fight a whole lot of mooks at once. And I think when they talk about
this cannot be good.
I know which one you're talking about.
Victory.
That one really pissed me off. We'll talk about that more when we get there.
Shooter.
Yeah. But I believe, no, I have no way to verify this, but I am willing to bet that encounter was also outsourced as a boss fight.
They're here. The mercs
Because it follows that formula that the other 3 do. And with regards to weird storytelling, weird behavior on the part of the protagonist, and just suddenly your character suddenly the player is griefed by their own character.
And there's no feeling more frustrating than that.
No.